Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 82 of Direwolf20's Forgecraft series. A little quiet on the server today, but I wanted to get on to make sure that we do some Britannia cool stuff. So last episode we started with Britannia. We created an automated living wood and living rock system using the new mod Refined Storage, which allows you to place blocks with constructors in much the same way formation planes worked in AE. And also it has destructors, which unlike AE have filters on them. And you can filter on living rock and living wood, for example. You can also filter on comparing damage and MBT, so metadata and MBT count, whitelist or blacklist mode, and you can filter on items. You can also do stuff with liquids, which we haven't really looked at yet, and I might want to look at. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe sometime soon. For now, however, it's time to do some magic from Britannia. So I've got a mana pool. It's got some mana in it. I guess the next thing that I should probably work on is... I think we want another mana spreader, and it might be time to get a runic altar. So I'm assuming that the altar is the same as it was before. Ender Pearl or Mana Diamond, doesn't really matter. Ender Pearls we have a lot more of than diamonds. I know it doesn't look that way, but that's because I haven't hooked up the storage doors that are on my farm at the moment. So let's just get a few Mana Pearls. Woot, that worked pretty well. And I'm going to hang on to them. Whoa. Sudden frame rate lag. I don't know where that's coming from. Oh, right. I forgot my stuff. I think what I'll do is grab just a couple stacks of each of these things and bring them over here so that they're available. And for now, we can do that. We're also going to obviously want a spreader. And we're going to want a flower petal. I'm thinking I might want 2 of these. So let's do it up. Oh, hey, I got 3. Well, that works too. Just have a few extras. Can't hurt. Boom. And runic altar, which looks a little different. Doesn't that look different? Am I crazy or does that look different? Looks a little bit different. Sweet. So I think what I'd like to do is maybe work on... So there's a lot, obviously, that we could do. I think generating floor is kind of the way I'd like to go. Now, there's a few things we could do, and I think Super Circuit Maker may play a role in a lot of good stuff here. But there's a lot of things. We also have food. We have lots of food, don't we? Yeah. Meals. Light meals. Yeah, we can do cool stuff with this. Oops, didn't want to put that there. So the Gormalaeus is an option. That's the one that eats up food in a small area around it and turns it to mana. Only a single piece at a time, and mana is created when it's done. Any other food it finds, it will also devour, but not create any mana from it. Right. Yeah. That's cool. So that's an option. And because we have a mod that adds a bunch of cool food options, now we also have Reliquary, right? And I don't know if it's going to show me the information about it, but there is some bread in Reliquary that gives you like a ridiculous amount of food. So that just requires glowing water, which is gunpowder, glowstone, and netherwort, and a water bucket. Kind of wouldn't mind trying that out. What do you guys think? I mean, that's going to be a little bit OP, I think, but these things happen. Do I not have any netherwort, by the way? Or is it down here? If it's down here, then that's okay. We will need to hook these things up, is what we need to do. That's pretty much absolutely what we need to do. So we're going to need some bread, which I know we should have a bunch of wheat down here. Definitely need to hook that up, because now that's like twice that we've run into that issue. Cool. So I just want to try it, just to see, A, if it works, and just how much mana it winds up generating. So to make the Gormalaeus, first we're going to need to take a nap because it's getting late out. That sounds like a plan. Second, we're going to need some things. So let's see. So the Gormalaeus needs Rune of Summer, Rune of Fire. Rune of Summer. There we go. Okay, yeah, that needs Rune of Air and Earth. Okay, cool. Are runes in JEI yet? Rune of Fire, obviously. So that's Mana Powder, Mana Steel, Nether Brick, Gunpowder, and Nether Wart. Nether Brick. Gunpowder. And I have a couple Nether Wart hanging in here. Cool. And then we're also going to want some iron. I'll probably put a lot of this other stuff away for the time being. Cool. So that's the Rune of Fire. And I do want to try automating the altar at some point soon. And then we're going to need Mana Powder, which is Gunpowder, right? So let's make sure we have a good number of Gunpowder ready, because we're probably going to need a lot of that. So that's everything I need there. And then we're going to want the Rune of Summer, right? Which is Earth and Air. Air being String, Feather, Carpet. So String, Feather, Carpet. And Earth being Coal, Stone, and Mushroom. So Coal, Stone, and Mushroom. Cool. That should be good. And I think... Oh, wait. Then Summer also needs Melon, Slime Ball, and Sand. And I'm going to put away my IC2 stuff for now. And I'll also put away... that should be cool for now. So Sand... Do we have melons? I think we did melons at some point. We have melon seeds. But we don't seem to have melons. That's alright. We only need one for now. And we'll just hang on to the extras. And then slime balls, which I'm pretty sure we have a bunch of, right? Yeah, we do. So let's just do one summer rune. So this should be pretty good. So first things first, let's get... You're going to need to be stored somewhere. You're going to hang out up here. That's going to be my storage chest for some things. Cool. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. You. Oh, and then I also need the gunpowdery stuff. So let's put away you. And I probably don't need these at the moment. Cool. Are you having mana issues yet? No, you're good. You're good. Nice. All right, and drop you. Go. Nice. So these guys go down. One of you. One of you. Perfect. That frees up my inventory a little bit, obviously. And then we'll do earth and air next. Cool. So this is all working pretty much like it used to, which is nice for me. So I'm going to want a few more of these. I don't have a ton. I don't have a bad amount of mana right now. I just don't have a ton. So that's why I'm not going too hog wild on the mana powder and mana steel. Nice. Alright, let me craft the rest of these and we'll be right back. Alright, now I'm doing the Rune of Summer. Sweet. And then I should be ready to make the flower that I want to make. So let's get out our flower pouch here because we're going to want a Gormalaeus, right? So that is fire and summer. Red, 2 yellows, 2 light gray. So let's get red, 2 yellows, and 2 light gray. Okay. And then you should be done. You should be ready for a bucket of water, which I don't have. Red, 2 yellows, fire, and summer. Nice. And then seeds. Perfect. Middle click to get one. Nice. Gormalaeus, ready to roll. All right, cool. Let's give this a try. So if I place this, you should be linked to that, as we can see, because it has that nice outline. Let's try tossing some food at you. So it should eat it up, and then when it's done eating is when it'll transfer the mana to the mana spreader, I believe. Yep, there it goes. Nice. That's actually a lot of mana. Not a crazy amount. I think the Coal Coke was definitely a lot more mana. But that's not bad, dude. The only problem is knowing when it's ready to eat again. That's the tricky part. So I'm just trying to experiment with different methods, because if I dropped another bread right now, I think it would eat it up. Right? Yeah, and I don't think it would actually consume it. We'll see. If this bar fills back up before it's done mana spreading over there, it did, so that's good. So once it's done eating, it can eat again. It's just a tricky mechanic to figure out when it's going to be ready to eat. So that's an option. All right, guys, we're back. And I'm working my way towards another one here. So I want to try another flower that might generate us some good mana. So I think this was you, and you. Nice. And while that cooks, taking a nap. Cool. All right. And next up, I think we needed Wrath, which is 2 diamonds, winter, and earth. Well, that's not so bad. Two diamonds, winter, and earth. Cool. Okay. Sweet. I did get my Rune of Winter back. That's kind of cool. That was kind of changed towards the end of the 1-7 branch. So that... Oh no, not winter. It's... Wrath and what? Fire? Yeah, it is. Sweet. Seeds. Entropinium. Nice. Now, do we have any TNT handy? If not, I can obviously craft it. We have one. It's enough to test with. So the Entropinium's kind of nice in that it absorbs the blast from TNT, right? As we've seen from past. We want a lever to test this with. Don't worry, shouldn't do any damage. Keyword shouldn't. Oh, nice, it didn't. Haha, cool. So the deal is that we can only detonate the TNT when the mana spreader, well, when the Entropinium has no mana in it. So if we detonated the TNT right now, it wouldn't absorb the blast and it would cause terrain destruction. But as it stands right now, as soon as it's empty, it's ready to go again. So there's 2 ways we could probably approach this. We could either just build a simple timer that says, hey, when, you know, the Entropinium blasts, wait 30 seconds or whatever, right? And then drop another TNT and detonate it. That's an option. Another option would probably be, I don't know, there's a couple options, right? Obviously. So let's come back in a minute. I want to think this through. All right, guys, let's take a look at what we need to do and then what we're gonna do. So, reminder how this works. if you have a mana detector in between your mana spreader and your mana pool, it'll pulse with a redstone signal every time a mana burst is going through it. However, this does not create a steady redstone signal, it's a pulse. So like every, I don't know, half a second or so it looks like it's pulsing. So we need to detect when it's pulsing, right? So down here, we've got an ender pulsar, right? And the way this thing works is you can specify however many ticks you want, and every so many ticks, like so in this case, every 20 ticks or once a second, it sends a redstone signal. Now, the nice thing about the ender's pulse is if it's receiving a redstone signal, so for example, not you, it doesn't pulse. Cool? And if it receives a redstone signal in between pulses, it resets the counter of those 20 ticks. So for example, if we did something like this and made sure to read from that, notice how it's no longer pulsing because it's getting that one and resetting the pulse, right? Now, if it was like that, it would still be allowed to pulse because whenever it receives a pulse, it kind of resets it. But now it's not pulsing. So basically what we'll do is we'll read from the mana spreader into the ender pulsar to emit the redstone signal to deploy and activate the TNT. Does that sound like a pretty good plan? There's some other stuff I might want to do in there as well. We might want to do like an AND gate or something like that to kind of make it a little bit more careful. But I think that should work out pretty well and not be too bad, right? So basically, we'll want a block placer, which I know something has. Extra Utilities has it, right? I don't know what it's called in Extra Utilities. Indexer, crusher, furnace, machine block, mechanical user? That's what I want, right? Yeah, mechanical user. Totally seems doable, right? And then we'll get some TNT. A dozen seems good enough for now to get started with. And then we'll pop outside. Okay. And basically, what we can do is have this following setup, right? We'll pop this guy there, okay? Now, always on, generic click, right click, random slot, okay? So if we put these in here, whenever this thing receives a redstone signal, and you know what I should probably do is to make it a little bit easier, I'm gonna pick this up. And it doesn't have to be right next to the entropinium, by the way. Just, you know, FYI. That's not totally necessary. What can I clean up inventory-wise? You can go away. And you know what I'm going to do is put all these things away for now. And I'll even put that stuff away. That should save me plenty of inventory space. Cool. So it doesn't actually have to be next to the entropinium. That's fine. But for now, we'll let it be there. So you can go there with TNT in you. So basically what this should do is when it receives a redstone signal, generic click, right click, left click, place block, that's what I want. Ah, nice. Okay, cool. So we want this to be on redstone signal, right? So redstone on, redstone off, redstone pulse. That's what we want, right? So every pulse should cause it to place one, right? But having it on all the time doesn't mean it'll continuously pulse. If it were on redstone mode, it would continuously pulse, provided the redstone signal is being applied. We don't want that. We want it per pulse, so redstone pulse mode. And then it'll only deploy when it receives a pulse, and not again until it receives another pulse. Cool? And this could be something like, okay, you weren't supposed to break that easily, but that's okay. We can have like a block of redstone there. That should work, right? Should be cool. All right, so let's build the super circuit maker that's going to superbly circuit this stuff. And I would like some vanilla redstone to help me out. Cool. So you are going to be the following. Where should I place this circuit, I guess, would be the next question. You know what I could do? Oh, I know what I could do. Oh, that would be cool. What if I placed my super circuit maker right here? And then I could just have a little bit of extra fun with it. Does that sound cool? I think so. All right, so you're going to redstone signal your way over to here. Cool. That should be fine. And then we're going to be we're going to want the following setup stuff. So we're definitely going to want these guys. So we will have redstone that's reading from this side, going into an ender pulsar that's configured for, like, let's say 30 ticks, right? So that'll be every, and we're going to have this go out to here and to here, right? And you can be read, and you can be read. Cool. And for now, just to demonstrate this, we're going to make sure to have glowstones here, but at the end, we're going to have it actually outputting to adjacent stuff, right? We'll probably have something like that, and that should work, right? So right now, it's not working because there's mana going into it, right? If we remove this block, all of a sudden, it would be allowed to pulse. Cool. So we don't want it to pulse too often. Maybe we want it to be 40, so every 2 seconds, right? And that'll give this time for it to detonate. We might need to bump that timer up because we want to make sure that, well, yeah, we'll figure something out. I might, instead of this, we might have like the quartz thing, which I thought I brought with me, quartz resonators. Maybe I said to myself, I don't need that, and I was wrong. There they are. So that might be doable. Because I want to make sure that it doesn't place down a second TNT while the first one is exploding still, and while we're waiting for this to kind of kick off. So we'll want to make sure to meter that, right? But in the meantime, that should stop the pulsing, right? So that's cool. I'm thinking we could probably have, instead of this, we will have a quartz resonator set up. And you can read from that. And this will be a delay of, 20 ticks should be good. It could be 30, right? So that then we can do this. You know what I'll do is I'll put this guy here. That should be good, right? And you'll be configured for 20. That sound cool? So that's a total of 50. So if I made this 60, so what should happen is it should receive a redstone signal. When it stops getting a redstone signal, 3 seconds later, it'll activate this line, and it'll deploy the TNT. And then a second and a half later, a redstone signal will pulse that will activate the TNT. And then a second later, a redstone signal will reset the timer so that another 3 seconds starts. And then hopefully by then, we will have started to receive a redstone signal. So let's see what happens. Let's do this. So 3 seconds, pulse. Okay. Nice. 3 seconds. That's kind of cool. So that should pulse the front, and then pulse that, and then pulse that, and then there should be another 3 seconds before the pulse can go again. And hopefully by then, this will have started going. Neat. Should we try it with 1 TNT block in there? Okay, so instead of, let's actually sleep, because bedtime already. Okay, and then we will test this out. All right, so we'll basically just say you and you, and let's make sure that we're ready for this. Well, we'll put the 1 TNT in there. I think we'll be all right for a minute. So 1 TNT can go in there, and you can activate there, and you can activate there, and let's remove this. Okay. So the only problem is I can't really tell because we're still getting mana from our endo flames, and I have no idea how much longer that's going to run. I dropped those coal blocks in there a long time ago, and they're still cooking. So let's come back in a minute when the endo flames have finished their processes, and then we'll see if we get to this. And the other thing is that I noticed that this thing did kind of immediately activate, which is a bummer to me. So I want to see what I can do about that. All right, guys, here goes nothing. I'm going to go ahead and place a TNT in here, and we're going to see what happens. So this should pulse, place. It did automatically activate, not the end of the world. And that didn't pulse again, did it? So that's kind of cool. Should we put another one in there? I really want to test this pretty aggressively because I want to make sure that there's no chance for a double placement. That would probably be pretty bad. I mean, it would absolutely be pretty bad, but... So this thing should burn up all its entropinium. This thing should spend out, and then 3 seconds later, drop the TNT, quartz, quartz, 3-second countdown, mana catches it, it didn't pulse again, right? Nice. Wish I could see how close that was. I almost want to bump this up to a... To be extra safe, we're going to make it 3.5 seconds. An extra half second is not going to make the end of the world, right? So this time we're going to put 2. Well, you know what I wouldn't mind doing is actually fixing this. Why are you immediately doing the thing that you're doing, which is... So I wouldn't mind testing this by doing this, right? So that's... So the circuit maker is set up properly. I'm wondering if the mechanical user is transferring the redstone signal to the block in front of it. It's totally possible. What if I did this? Would you then work? Vanilla redstone all the way. Totally not working. Okay. Let's get red alloy wire from, sure, Super Circuit Maker, and see if that helps. Now we're talking. That's kind of cool. That actually worked quite well. I do want to have a miniature lamp on this because I just want to check that again to make sure. Because now there's a little bit more of a delay, right? Instead of it immediately pulsing, it's... Yeah. So we might want to... Because it takes longer for the flower to start going, right? So we want to check our timing on that. So now we should see pulse, right? So let's make sure there's TNT in there. So we should see pulse, TNT. So it didn't pulse, so that's good. We didn't see this guy blip. So in theory, like, I'm so afraid to actually like do this. It's crazy. But we'll do it, and then I have that brief moment of time to actually break the TNT with my drill here. So I think we'll be all right. So let's see what happens. We've got 2 in there. We should not see both of them deploy, right? So it should be pulse, activate TNT, reset the timer for another 3 seconds, and then we're cool. Look at that. Beautiful. And then it'll place the next one. Nice. All right, I'm going to keep an eye on this for a minute, and then we'll come back. So I tweaked the numbers a little bit. So this is 70 ticks, right? So I made this 1 second, or 20 ticks, and I made this 40 ticks, so that's 2 seconds. So a total of 3 seconds. That gives us an extra half second before here. So that should kind of do things a little bit more efficiently. So we'll see. So it more quickly detonates the TNT, and I think it gives us even more of a buffer between the TNT detonating and the possibility of a second one being dropped. So I think that's pretty cool. That's really cool in my opinion. Like, that is an awesome circuit, and it works perfectly. Like, I think the only thing that we could have a problem with is this guy, and that's why I brought a comparator. So a comparator here, and we're gonna want this to be in like some kind of mode, but basically I want to use the comparator to measure the amount of redstone. So that's 7. Cool. So I mean, for now we could do something like nice and simple. that could say 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm going to bump this out a little bit more. Cool. So once this gets to a high enough amount, right? So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 1, 2, 3 more should keep a steady redstone signal, right? And that should prevent it from dropping TNT when we get to a certain level inside the pool. Which, I mean, we have a ways to go, but I think this might be a neat way to go about it. Plus, it's a lot more fun than the coal coke. I mean, the coal coke is good, don't get me wrong. I like the coal coke. If we're going to do it this way, I might want to have multiple TNT mechanical users and multiple entropiniums. So that's a thing that might need to happen. All right, grabbed more TNT, made myself another entropinium. Let's go ahead and tweak this a little bit. So it should be pretty easy to do. What I'm thinking, oh, I need another mechanical user too. I know I was forgetting something up there. Cool. And while I'm at it, I should probably sleep through the night. Hooray! So before we wrap up here, I want to have one more just to kind of double this a little bit, but should be pretty straightforward. So I think we're out of TNT in here now. That's cool. That would be expected. Cool. So you will be right-click, place block, redstone pulse, same as this. Okay. We will have, I mean, I could just have the entropinium here. Yeah, it should work. Okay. And then I'll probably want the mana spreader here. You do that, and you are linked to that, right? So this one goes to this spreader, this one goes to this spreader. Let's do one more thing is I want to have here. Let's keep this in place, and we want to just tweak this a little bit. So you were, where's my screwdriver? 20 ticks, right? So we're going to basically do this. We'll have another one here set to 20 ticks. And your job will be to activate this guy. And then we'll just put this glowstone here. That's fine. Don't forget we want this to read. And this doesn't have to loop back because it doesn't matter. This one's doing the loop back, so this one doesn't have to loop back, right? Cool. So let's try it. What I'm going to do is activate a lever on this guy for the time being. So this is a manual kill switch now. So we'll put one TNT here, one TNT here, and now when I turn this off, 3 seconds we should see both of them drop. Another second, they should both explode, and then reset the 3-second timer, and now pulsing. Nice. And both of these are sending mana through. Ha! Cool. All right. So that seems pretty stable. So I'll just do this and this. And everybody wins, right? And then once this pool fills up enough, it'll cut the power because it'll be a redstone signal that's steady, right? That should be... Oh, you know what? That might be too far, right? Let's see. If this was 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That might be a little close. I don't want it to be like that close. So I think what I'll do is just bring it in a little bit. And then once we have enough, then we'll see, right? So for now, this is 7, and this is 3, 2, 1. Cool. That should be good. I think we'll be cool. So this mana spreader is empty now. We should see drop, explode, mana spreaders. Nice, right? You guys can see why I'm enjoying Super Circuit Maker so much, I hope. Because it's so fun and it has, like, so many cool things. I haven't even done complex circuits. Like, I've been doing very, very basic circuits. You can do such complex stuff with it. Anyway, wrapping up point. Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.